Welcome to the Kind of Nerdy Girls podcast. Fandom, fun, funny.
Hey there, kind of nerdy friends. I'm about to talk to, I can't even believe it, Judd Nelson. Yes, the Breakfast Club, Bender, is going to join us here in just a few minutes, and also on the phone. So he has a new project, and it's coming out, if you're listening to this, brand new special bonus episode of the Kind of Nerdy Girls on Lifetime tomorrow night, the 27th. The movie is called The Girl in the Basement. It looks super creepy, like in a way that you are like, I don't want to know that this kind of stuff happens, but I'm totally going to watch it. Definitely something for the true crime lovers listening. Also on the phone with Judd will be the director of the movie. And I was so excited. I think, honestly, a little more excited than Judd Nelson. Don't tell him that. But Elisabeth Rohm, because she played Kate in Angel. So I'm hoping she'll be cool to talk about that. I'm hoping, that Judd will be cool to talk about the 80s a little bit. But we're definitely going to kind of get into what it was like for both of them to be a part of a really disturbing topic that's based on true stories. So here we go. They are on the phone. Please welcome to the Kind of Nerdy Girls, Judd Nelson and Elisabeth Rohm.
How are you, KJ?
Hello, I'm great. I'm so excited to be talking with both of you today.
It's okay. You can be more excited to talk to Judd. It's okay. I get it.
No, listen to this. Elisabeth, you went there, so I am going to tell you. I was already excited about Judd, and then I told my husband last night, I'm like, do you know who else is going to be on the phone with us? Elisabeth Rohm. And he was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just such a huge fan of Judd. I can't wait for the world to see him in Girl in the Basement. I can't get enough of him.
I warned our listeners, like, we're going to have a lot of fun with this, but also when we get into talking about Girl in the Basement, this is some dark stuff that you guys are dealing with here. So I would love to, kind of get right into it. This had to be a pretty emotional journey for both of you. Elisabeth, number one, I'd like to start by talking with you about shifting behind the camera after, we've seen you in so many amazing things, and we are going to talk about Angel because I'm a huge nerd. But first, let's talk about how you decided this is the story. I want to get behind the camera. I want to direct it. I want to tell the story of The Girl in the Basement.
Well, I don't think I would have taken the opportunity to direct if it wasn't something that was essential, that I had to direct. And although this isn't a true story in its essence, it's inspired by several stories of its kind. There was one leading story that really I knew a lot about. I was deeply pained when I heard this story, and I felt like Judd has said this in many interviews. It really is. It's a call to action against familial abuse, generational abuse, and the sort of depth of that dynamic in a family. So it felt essential to me. I don't think I would have directed unless it was really important. And then I was blessed with incredible actors like Judd to be able to do something that I think people, as difficult as this film is, on the level of a film like Precious, this film is hard to watch, but it's also a story of hope because the Stephanie Scott character does make it out alive and intact. And so, there's, I don't know, it's not just a movie, but it's a movement. We hope people can watch it.
And did you feel that way as well, Judd, when this script came over, that it was obviously a very deep dive for you to play a character that, from what I've seen from the teasers, is a monster?
Well, I think that for the most part, monsters don't think that they're monsters. They think they're heroes of their own story. So he has no perspective really on proper parenting. Clearly, he has no perspective on this. But he believes that this is the best way to help her learn some respect. Well, I mean, completely misguided. But he doesn't think he's misguided. So I try and follow the markings in the script to tell the story as a whole. Because I can't be fighting to make this guy sympathetic because he is not sympathetic. So I just allow, like, I wanted to run its course under the direction of Elisabeth, and she was magnificent. No way would you think it was her first time. She was prepared, she was ready, and she gave great notes and guided us through a very scary story.
And I have to say this: Judd and I have had the pleasure of being repeat offenders with certain directors, which is always the highest compliment. And in true spirit of John Hughes and David O. Russell, I mean, he's not going to get rid of me, and I can't wait to work with Judd again.
I feel the same way. It's like, I mean, I've worked with actors that have directed, but it seems like there was a moat that they kind of had to cross to become a director, and it just seemed disjointed. Elisabeth just seemed so natural and just seamless. She was just in charge from the first minute till the end, and that's great as an actor to have a captain of the ship.
Well, Elisabeth, are you thinking for, in the future, directing something maybe more along the lines of a John Hughes film so we can, see Judd back in that kind of action?
Well, yeah, I mean, he is one of those actors that really can do it all. But I will say this, he encouraged me a lot as well. I mean, he's a total pro, has had such an illustrious career, and his encouragement, his respect towards me as well, especially as a female director, and a first-time director, really gave me the wind beneath my wings. So it's ultimately a great collaboration. You and your star, it's a great it's a collaboration at its best. Yeah, so I would like to see him laughing, sexy, something different. We're not going to make him be the monster in the basement.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of a reach to play what she's talking about, but she's directing, I'll do it.
So what will the two of you be doing on Saturday night, 8:00 here Eastern Time, when all of us are tuning in to watch The Girl in the Basement?
Well,
I will be writing love notes to perfect strangers.
Yeah. And while you all are watching it, I've watched it probably 500 times, so I'm not going to be watching it.
Oh my God!
I will DVR it for the sake of the numbers, but I have seen it a lot.
You're like, I'm going to be binging something else.
I'll be having a cocktail and celebrating my actors in my mind.
I bet, yes.
She'll be watching Peaky Blinders or...
Exactly.
All right. I always like to go to our listeners for questions when we have the opportunity to talk with you. So I have one for each of you. Judd, Matthew wanted to know if you could talk a little bit about what he says is the most underrated film of the 80s, Fandango, and what it was like to work with Kevin Costner at the time. Yes.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That was Kevin Reynolds wrote and directed that based on a short film that he wrote and directed at film school. And that was a road picture with Kevin Costner and Sam Robards that we shot in Texas. And I played the nerd, the Army ROTC nerd. It's set against the backdrop of the Vietnam War. And that was a fascinating film. That was my first film. It wasn't the first one that came out, but it was the first one I made. And it was, I tell you, what I thought Texas was like and what Texas is like are two different things. I had a blast.
Really?
Long time ago, though. I'm like that character's dad.
Well, it was interesting that Matthew brought it up because I had seen when you were talking with Dennis Miller that he also brought it up. So I was like, I don't remember this film, but I'm hearing such great things about it that it sounds like maybe something to decompress with after we've watched The Girl in the Basement.
Well, I'll tell you this. It has a gem of a performance in the middle of the film by Marvin McIntyre, who plays the parachute teacher at this small, middle of nowhere flight school, and he is magnificent. It's something not to be missed, his performance. Marvin McIntyre.
Got it. Thank you, Judd. And Elisabeth, Sarah wanted to know, she said, I loved your character on Angel, and I did too. She said, every time I rewatch it, I wish there'd been more of Kate. Could you talk a little bit about your time on Angel?
Well, I love that you guys love that show, because I still do as well. And being pretty much one of the first things I did, I don't know, it really was important to me too. I mean, Joss Whedon is a genius, but it tapped into a lot of my childhood pain. She had a lot of issues with her dad, and it just was like my first experience being able to take the things I'd experienced in real life and put them into a character, and I was just hooked from then on. Like, I thought, this is better than therapy, right? I mean, Kate was really like troubled, and I just really felt her pain. And David Boreanaz was a great friend and a great colleague, and I learned really early on to be a united front as actors, and there was just so much that was great about it. And then Law and Order came calling, and I was sad to leave Angel, but I left Angel because I had to go to New York to do Law and Order, which for me was like an epic turn, and sad to have left those guys, but thrilled to have gotten on Law & Order.
Well, I have enjoyed watching both of your careers, and I'm very excited for Saturday night. I know I can tell from talking with both of you that this was just an incredible project that meant a lot to you. So we will be watching The Girl in the Basement Saturday night, 8 o'clock on Lifetime. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
The Kind of Nerdy Girls are proud to be a part of the Just What I Needed network, and we certainly hope we were just what you needed. To support the show, you can get yourself some merch and show off that you are kind of nerdy. Go to kindofnerdygirls.com and click on the Kind of Nerdy shop. And while you're there, you can also support the show by getting access to behind-the-scenes footage, videos of our podcast, and never-before-heard episodes from our classic Kind of Nerdy vault. Just become a patron at kindofnerdygirls.com.